Good morning and welcome. We are going to begin our proceedings of the joint session. I will invite the Alec Garnett Social Club to take their seats. Welcome, welcome. It is a joyous day in Colorado. I am proud to announce that the joint session of the House and Senate will now come to order. Senate Majority Leader Rodriguez.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that the morning roll call of the Senate be made the Senate roll call of the joint session.
Seeing no objection, the morning roll call of the Senate will be made the Senate roll call for the joint session. House Majority Leader Duran.
Madam Speaker, I move that the morning roll call of the House be made the House roll call of the joint session.
Seeing no objection, the morning roll call of the House will be made the House roll call for the joint session. There is objection. One moment, please. Minority Leader Puglisi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It's an honor to serve with you.
And it is an honor to serve with you.
For some of us, it took us 3 hours to get here this morning, so we were not on the morning roll call, and I would like that reflected. Thank you.
Thank you, Minority Leader. We will update this morning's roll call. The House will stand in a brief recess. The joint session will come back to order. House Majority Leader Duran.
Madam Speaker, I move that the updated morning roll call of the House be made the House roll call of the joint session.
Seeing no objection, the morning roll call of the House will be made the House roll call, the updated House roll call for the joint session. A quorum is present. As is customary, it is my privilege and honor to present the gavel to the newest president of the Senate with the request that he preside over these proceedings.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Good morning, y'all. Wow. Listen, before we get started, I might be a little biased, but I do think we have the greatest speaker in these United States of America here in the state of Colorado. Yeah. Thank you all. Will the Joint Committee composed of Senators Exum, Marchman, and Liston, and Representatives Lukens, Zokai, Sander, please go and get the governor. The joint session will be in recess while we await the governor.
Can I get by, please? Well, we're back at it. like a power plant. Yeah. And then we use gaming graphics to fly through that model so you can see it. So it's cool, sexy stuff.
Has it been successful?
Well, it's brand new. It's my second company.
Okay.
We don't have it all built yet. We have demo videos I like to show off to you and so on, but it doesn't exist yet. It's all like the indication of it. Yeah. Yeah. So. Yeah, and I put everything that I had in. What's that? Well, exactly. Well, I kind of like it. Always busy. I do. I wake up and go, okay, what do I do now?
What did you say you were
Oh, everything I earned out of my sales, my first company, I put into this one now, and my imagination is a lot bigger than my wallet, so now I'm giving other people's investment money to come in. Once we close that, yeah, thanks. So it looks like we'll close that investment next month, and then we hire all the developers and we'll write all that. Yeah, it's fun. Thank you. Yeah, well, they're there. It has been hard. I think it's they're getting a little bit looser with their wallet. Yeah. But they approved us and everything. Now they have to sell a whole bunch of real estate for their next investment round, and that's going to be to us. So, yeah. Hey, you too.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. During these things, yes. The rules are kind of tossed out.
The joint session will come back to order. Chief Sergeant of the House Rosenthal. Will the committee to escort the governor please proceed to the podium? Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure and honor to present to you the Honorable Jared Polis, Governor of the State of Colorado.
Thank you, Speaker McCluskey, President Coleman, Majority Leader Duran, Majority Leader Rodriguez, Minority Leader Lundin, Minority Leader Pugliese, members of the General Assembly, and well as a special welcome to new members. Thank you, and you may be seated. I'd like to acknowledge Lieutenant Governor Diane Primavera is with us, along with Treasurer Young, Attorney General Weiser, Secretary of State Griswold. We have the justices of the Colorado Supreme Court. We have the members of the Colorado State Board of Education. We also have visiting us Ute Mountain Ute Tribal Vice Chairman Turtle, representing our government-to-government relationship with the Ute Mountain Ute Tribe, as well as members of the Ute Mountain Ute Council. We're also joined by local mayors and county commissioners from across our great state, as well as the members of my cabinet. And of course, First Gentleman Marlon Reese. Welcome. As you know, today is a National Day of Mourning, and of course it's appropriate to begin with a moment of silence in memory of President Jimmy Carter, whose funeral is being held today in Washington, D.C. Please rise for a moment of silence. Thank you. You may be seated. You know, and on this day of national mourning, we should all take to heart the spirit and the integrity of service, regardless of whether you agreed or disagreed of Jimmy Carter, the great integrity and spirit that he brought with him, of course, as a public official, but just as importantly, that he embodied in his private life post-presidency. In Colorado, our gentle and welcoming spirit reflects our magnificent landscape. We always rise above as a beacon of freedom and opportunity, a home for innovation and ingenuity. We are a people of honesty and integrity. Altitude, rising above, that's part of who we are as Coloradans. From our highest point at 14,440 feet atop Mount Elbert to our lowest elevation, 3,315 feet at Arickaree River in Yuma County. In fact, our lowest point is actually the highest point of many other states. Living here in Colorado, sometimes simply breathing can be an act of strength, a fortification of mind and body, a constant reminder of our resolve. Altitude is in many ways our secret ingredient to our unrivaled agricultural industry, including our San Luis Valley potatoes, grown in the largest and highest crop-producing alpine valley in the world. Assistant Minority Leader Simpson hosted me on his farm near Alamosa, where I signed a bipartisan law to protect our water resources and support farmers and ranchers to adopt practices that build healthy soil and drought resilience. Athletes from around the world come to train and compete at Colorado altitude, whether it's in Boulder or the Olympic Training Center in Colorado Springs, looking for a taste of the grit and endurance that pushes athletes and our championship teams, including the playoff-bound Buffalo Bills bustin' Denver Broncos. And attracting new teams, like Colorado's newly announced National Women's Soccer League team coming to Colorado. And also, the Rockies play here. There's always next year. Altitude is more than a place to put down roots. It's a pathway to the stars. It's the high road that means we're a mile closer to space, the epicenter of our nation's aerospace industry and proud supporters of military readiness, and of course contributes to Colorado being the rightful and permanent home of U.S. Space Command. At altitude, the sun's rays shine stronger and brighter, spotlighting our bold leadership in everything from innovative technology to the creative arts. Last year, working with Representatives Valdez and Soper and Senator Bridges, Colorado made history, winning the coveted opportunity to establish Colorado as America's tech hub for quantum technology. This year, along with our legislative champions, Speaker McCluskey, Representative Tatone, Senator Amabile, and Baisley, our sights are set on raising the curtain for Colorado as the new home of the world-famous Sundance Film Festival. In Colorado, good enough is not good enough. We aim to do more, to do better, for more people, to climb higher, to improve our standard of living, to keep communities cleaner and safer, to increase access to housing that Coloradans can actually afford, and to offer the jobs, careers, and businesses that we want, we need, we deserve, to protect our wild spaces, to help every student thrive right here, right now, no excuses. To save people money on everything from groceries to health care, to show hardworking taxpayers that we respect their efforts and will be good stewards of their tax dollars. You know, last year, after my speech, pundits said things like Polis, as expected, underscored housing and affordability, and the governor is a nerd who loves sci-fi references. And I guess they're right, because, you know, what really matters most in Colorado is what should matter most to all of us, and that's saving people money and the cost of living. And yes, there are a few more Star Trek fans out there than you may realize. Our values and our way of life are not dependent on who is in the White House or who is in United States Congress. And I refuse to allow disagreement, division, or disorder in Washington, D.C. to deter us in Colorado. That's simply not how we roll. Here in this legislature, in our state, we can and we will do better. My principle is simple. I'll always work with everyone and anyone when it's good for Colorado, and I'll oppose anyone and everyone when it hurts our people or it hurts our state. Very simple. Just as I spoke out against President Biden's solar tariffs that could increase energy costs for Coloradans, I will strongly criticize President Trump's proposed and in many ways even worse tariffs that could raise the cost of everything from groceries to housing to energy. You know, alongside Commissioner Greenberg and our hardworking farmers, we worked with the federal government to open the Mexican domestic market to Colorado-grown potatoes, and we'll fight against any misguided efforts that threaten the progress we've made, hurt our farmers or ranchers, or drive up the price of groceries. Now, none of us need to shy away from disagreements on policy, be it with the President of the United States, between any members of the legislature, or yes, even with me. But let me be clear. There's a big difference between disagreeing on policy and attacking our democratic institutions. In the free state of Colorado, we'll fight against any attempt to rob us of our freedom. In the free state of Colorado, we understand what government is and isn't here to do. Government is not here to dictate who we love, who we marry, or if and when we choose to start a family. In the free state of Colorado, we stand strong against baseless attacks on law-abiding Coloradans who want nothing more than to contribute to our society. In the free state of Colorado, we protect and expand our freedom, tempered by the knowledge that freedom demands personal responsibility and accountability. And we know the only way to continue to climb higher to even greater altitude is together. Regardless of what happens in Washington, D.C., we're going to keep our eye on the ball, on what matters most to Coloradans: affordability, livability, sustainability. Much like our iconic aspen groves, among the largest living organisms in the world, we know that sometimes what appears on the surface to stand alone is often interconnected by roots that run deep. And that also holds true for our vision of Colorado's future. It's a vision in which Coloradans can live safe in our vibrant communities, in homes that we can afford, near convenient transit, near job centers with clean air to breathe, fresh water to drink, high quality and affordable health care. And while on the surface, these priorities may seem to stand alone, by digging a little deeper, we can see the roots that connect our climate goals, our transit goals, our healthcare goals, our affordability goals, just like our beautiful aspen tree groves or an even larger organism, mycorrhizal fungi networks or wood wide webs. We're all interconnected. When people can walk or bike to get where they want to go, guess what? It can improve their health. So there's so many ways that we can address these issues working together. And I'm proud that working with you last year, we took real meaningful steps to deliver more housing and reduce costs. And I want to thank you for coming together to take some of the first important steps to help housing supply start to catch up with demand while cutting property taxes and lowering the residential property tax rate, thanks to the work of Speaker McCluskey, Minority Leader Pugliese, Senator Kirkmeyer, and Senator Frizzell. Thank you. And From giving Coloradans more freedom to build accessory dwelling units on their property, thanks to the work of Senator Amabile, Senator Exum, Senator Mullica, and Representative Weinberg, to expanding housing near transit and job centers, thanks to the work of Representative Woodrow, soon to be Senator Judah, I guess Representative Judah, I don't know. Ending discriminatory occupancy limits, thanks to the work of Representative Rutenall and Senator Gonzalez. And very importantly, getting rid of parking requirements above and beyond what people or the market want or need, thanks to the work of Representative Woodrow and Senator Henriksen. With these policies in place, we're starting to make it easier to build housing that's inherently more affordable, fill critical gaps in communities where the needs are greatest to power our economy. In Colorado, we say yes to more housing. We say yes to unlocking prosperity. We say yes to opportunity for Coloradans at every budget level. And to narrow the gap between supply and demand, we need to continue this important work to expand choice and speed up timelines and reduce red tape and costs for new housing to come to the market. We're looking to do this in 3 key ways. Working with Senator Bridges and Senator Exum, leaning into innovation to help streamline the approval process for modular housing options to build faster at lower cost with new and emerging technologies. Working with Representative Bazenecker and Representative Woodrow to empower builders to build smart stair apartment or homes, and alongside Representative Bazenecker and Representative Mabry and Senator Gonzalez, allowing faith-based and educational partners to use land they already have to build housing that we need for our communities. We're already seeing faith leaders across the state step up to be part of Colorado's housing future, including at Solid Rock Christian Center in Colorado Springs, now home to 77 affordable housing units on church property. And today we're joined by Pastor Ben Anderson from Colorado Springs. Thank you for your work, Pastor Ben. And we're excited to do what we can to help faith leaders and school districts around the state be able to do more work on providing the housing that we know that we need, that people can afford. And rather than force builders to develop massive one-size-fits-all apartments that could take up entire city blocks, let's empower them to build apartments or homes that are affordable and fit the neighborhood through smart stair reform. To unlock housing supply, we need to allow more housing that Coloradans want, that Coloradans can afford. And that often includes the need for more condo construction, which often start at a lower price point, providing affordable home ownership, and with it, the foundation for wealth building, building a nest egg for financial security. And yet, in Colorado, we've had a major decline in condo construction. Before 2008, condos made up about 20% of new home starts in Colorado, dropping to about 5% now. About 10 years ago, there were nearly 3,000 condos on the market under $400,000. Last year, there were only 22. Now, in the past, this conversation about meaningful condo liability reforms that, of course, balance homeowner protections and de-risk the market, but fundamentally allow more condos to be built, has often been stifled. It's now time to turn the page, to have a real dialogue about what's preventing condos from being built in our state, and to finally solve for it. I know that we can get this done in a way that protects homeowners, of course, if there's a defect, but also makes it less expensive and cumbersome for builders of all kinds to start projects and deliver housing for the people of our state. We look forward to working with you, starting today, side by side, along with Representative Byrd and President Coleman, to make condo ownership an achievable dream for more Colorado families starting now. We're also seeing in Colorado and across the country, and of course, as homeowners or renters, many of you experience this, skyrocketing homeowner insurance rates. I hear from Coloradans across our state, I'm sure you have too, who either can't find coverage or who've seen very large increases, even priced out of the market for the coverage that they have. And the rising cost of insurance, of course, doesn't just affect homeowners, it's also passed along to renters too. Just as Lord of the Ring fans know that one does not simply walk into Mordor, one does not simply fix homeowners insurance. There's many factors that contribute, largely the increased risk of hail and fire. But we need to start somewhere, and we need to start now. Today, I'm calling for needed reforms to tackle the high cost of homeowners insurance and expand access so every homeowner can get the insurance they need, learn more about ways to reduce their rates, and thanks to the leadership of Speaker McCluskey and Representative Titone and Brown and Senator Amabile and Assistant Majority Leader Cutter, we appreciate their work for helping to deal with the largest cost drivers like hail and fire and looking at risk reduction efforts that can directly translate to lower costs for everyone. And as we address climate-induced costs like rising homeowners insurance, we're also focused on giving Coloradans more options to get where we need to go. Transportation congestion isn't just annoying for all of us, it's also a leading source of pollution. And by expanding public transit and rail options, we can save people time and money on daily commutes and getting where they want to go while improving our air quality and decreasing traffic congestion. We won key federal funding and made a $90 million down payment for passenger rail expansion on the Front Range. We've secured a framework, thanks to the work of John Putnam and Lisa Kaufman, for the Moffett Tunnel lease to put us on track for mountain rail service. And thanks to the steps we've taken starting today, January 9th, and this was a coincidence, but the Winter Park Express will now run 5 days a week at lower cost from Denver Union Station to Winter Park. Tickets as low as $19 for adults, $10 for kids. But we're not done yet, and we're not quite at the point where Scotty can beam us up to Craig. But with the support of Speaker McCluskey, Senator Roberts, and Representative Lukens, we are well on our way to offering affordable, reliable, convenient, dare I say, fun service between Denver and Granby by 2026, and then, of course, onwards to Craig. Last year, we brought together Colorado's leading oil and gas producers and environmental advocates, people who seldom see eye to eye. But thanks to the support of Speaker McCluskey, Assistant Majority Leader Cutter, Representative Velasco, and many others, we reached a historic agreement that will boost Colorado from 42nd in the nation for transit funding to 23rd. These steps move us closer to a Colorado where you can step out of your door and choose from a variety of affordable, convenient, reliable ways to get where you want to go, while of course cutting down on pollution and traffic. And even if you're not somebody who wants to bike or take the bus or walk or take the train, you still benefit, because guess what? Other people will, and that means less traffic for you. To make this vision a reality, it takes all of us working together, and that means state, regional, and local partners. And my administration has sought to partner with RTD to support RTD with new funding from some of these new efforts. But we also need to continue to push for better governance, for more budget transparency, for accountability, and ultimately a district that's laser focused on getting more people where they need to go. I know that's a goal that we share, increasing ridership. And having an A-plus transit agency for Colorado's largest metropolitan area is absolutely critical to meet the needs of a growing state, to achieve our climate goals. And while we trust, we also must verify. And I want to thank Senator Winter, Representative Froelich, and Representative Lindstedt for continuing to lead this very important effort. We hear from local and regional partners across the state in rural and in urban communities about the need to improve and add bus and train stations to ensure riders can safely and easily get where they want to go. And we look forward to using innovative financing tools at the state level to help meet this need and encourage new stations and help our local partners boost ridership. Our housing and transit goals go hand in hand with our air quality goals, our climate goals, our affordability goals. More, better, less expensive options to get where you want to go, housing closer to job centers and transit hubs, save money and mean less pollution and less congestion. As they say in The Mandalorian, this is the way. The way to build a clean energy future, to tap into low-cost clean energy, to protect Coloradans from volatile price swings in natural gas, to save people money and to create jobs. We're working with local government to end costly permitting delays and automate processing of rooftop solar and other clean energy applications. These fixes will help reduce lag time and allow local governments to focus on other important priorities while making it easier for Coloradans and homeowners and businesses to buy low-cost clean energy. We're also working with Representative Joseph on a bill that will help Coloradans save more money and reduce pollution with low-cost financing for energy efficiency improvements in their homes, which can then be paid back over time from their savings on utility bills. And while we welcome help from Washington, D.C. to accelerate our transition to better transit and to a clean energy future, Colorado will continue to lead the way to tackle climate change and pollution with or without federal help. We are truly masters of our own destiny, and our bold climate action protects what helps make Colorado special. Our incredible quality of life, our air, our water, our land, our iconic wild spaces. Thanks to the steps we're taking together, including last year with Senate Bill 230, starting next year, we'll have over $50 million more to preserve our public lands and our wildlife. And we continue to find new and innovative ways to support our thriving outdoor recreation sector that contributes over $36 billion and over 400,000 jobs to our economy each year. And that includes looking at new funding streams for the care and preservation and access to our great outdoors, building on the success of Keep Colorado Wild Pass, which cut the cost of entry to Colorado's amazing 43 state parks and expanded access to all Coloradans, and outdoor equity to make sure that every Colorado knows that the outdoors are for them and that they have a place in enjoying what Colorado has to offer. You know, since my days in Congress and my time as governor, I've focused on making government more efficient. Simple ideas like eliminating the penny would save hundreds of millions of dollars a year. Here in Colorado, digitizing services like we've done with the My Colorado app, making DMV and tax services more easily available to people, helps make government more efficient, accessible, and responsive. I'm proud we've recruited some of the best and brightest from the private sector to work on digitizing government through the Colorado Digital Services, which has become a national model. We're working with Senator Weissman to drive efficiency and close tax loopholes. And a few weeks ago, I sawed through 208 old executive orders, some going back a century, cutting down quite literally on needless bureaucracy and paperwork. Now, continuing this work to reduce unnecessary laws and regulations requires your help. I urge the legislature, in partnership with the Colorado Chamber, Majority Leader Rodriguez, Minority Leader Landine, to take a good look at all of Colorado's laws and regulations and honestly question whether they're balancing consumer protection, health, and safety with minimizing red tape and reducing costs for the private sector and for Coloradans. As you make this review, you'll have our full cooperation, and I encourage thinking about what more could be done to unleash small business and drive economic growth in our great state. We all have a role to play to foster a healthy business environment that works for everyone. That includes protecting business certainty and keeping our economy competitive and ensuring good wages and opportunities for all Coloradans. It means engaging in good faith with those that you may not agree with on sticky issues, hearing one another's concerns, and making changes when and where possible. Knowing that just because you can pursue a costly and divisive fight doesn't mean you should. In the words of Taylor Swift, I think I've seen this film before and I don't like the ending. She's a little better than me. Together, we can take steps to keep Colorado the best place to live, work, and to do business. We're working with Majority Leader Duran and Representative Froelich to strengthen our wage theft laws in an effective way to ensure that workers are paid the money that they've earned and are owed for the work they do. It's also now time to address the way local minimum wage and tipped wage credit works to ensure that restaurants, so important to the fabric of our communities, can thrive across the state, and that workers, including those in both the front and the back of the house, can make a good wage. The Labor Peace Act in Colorado has a long history. Since its inception in 1943, that's the year before my parents were born, the act has provided a pathway to require that workers have mandatory dues deducted from their paychecks via election to get their consent. In fact, business interests and organized labor have worked together in very recent history to preserve this compromise by blocking efforts to move Colorado to become the 27th right-to-work state. And that's something I agree on, that we should not be a right-to-work state. In that same spirit of collaboration, my ask is that if there are any efforts to reform the Labor Peace Act, that they include the support of both workers and business to avoid the rancorous fights of the past. And if there is a possible agreement to change the status quo that's served to avoid significant disputes for more than 80 years, we look forward to working with you together to find it. This year, we're navigating a return to tighter budget conditions, thanks to lower inflation and increasing healthcare costs. The balanced budget that I've put forth includes proposals that pair meaningful cuts with new enterprises, the conversion of Pinnacle to better support workers for the future, and targeted high-impact investments to improve public safety, fully fund our schools, and protect our social safety net. I want to thank the JBC for their leadership, for partnering with us to do the difficult work of making cuts while thinking creatively about how to avoid bad outcomes. This is going to be hard, so hug a JBC member when you see one. We look forward to working together with all of you to ensure that even and especially in light of the tough budgetary environment we find ourselves in, we'll continue to put the needs of Coloradans first. Nothing communicates genuine quality of life better than a safe and secure community. 3 years ago, I established the bold goal of making Colorado one of the 10 safest states in the country. And we, working with you, got right to work. Democrats and Republicans came together to pass a common sense, data-driven public safety plan to crack down on crime, to prevent it from happening in the first place. And these targeted investments are making a real difference. From 23 to the same time period in 24, crime rates dropped in every category, essentially. 20,000 fewer property crimes, that's 15% less. 21% fewer homicides, that's 9% less. 8,000 fewer car thefts, that's a 26% decrease. But we know there's a lot more work to do. Last year, I called on the legislature to empower the Colorado Bureau of Investigations to crack down on illegal firearm activity. And together, we added a stronger law sponsored by Senator Sullivan and Majority Leader Duran and Representative Froelich that's resulted in 62 illegal firearms seized in the past 4 months alone, making our streets, neighborhoods, and communities safer. But to make Colorado the front runner in public safety, there's more work to do. That includes boosting Colorado's emergency dispatch system to ensure that our brave and dedicated first responders can get where they're needed without delay. It includes working with Representative Armagost and Majority Leader Duran to strengthen the penalty for theft of a firearm, regardless of market value. And while crime rates are down statewide, one area in need of improvement is preventing and reducing youth crime. That's why my budget calls for additional support to prevent crime from happening, expand resources for youth, and increase bed capacity at the Division of Youth Services so young adults who enter the criminal justice system can get back on track and avoid becoming repeat offenders. Under my proposal, youth offenders who are currently being sent all over the state will be able to stay closer to home to get the support they need faster from their families and their communities. Our commitment to public safety extends to all who call our state home, people and animals alike. Livestock theft is unfortunately not a thing of the past, and we are committed to holding cattle rustlers accountable, with local sheriffs and brand inspectors leading the way. I've directed our leaders at the Department of Agriculture and Department of Public Safety to coordinate and provide additional support, working closely with local law enforcement to use the full extent of the law to catch and convict wrongdoers. We'll continue to support our ranchers, and I'm glad, by the way, that the National Western moved their stock show parade back an hour so I can speak for another hour. It was actually because of the snow. But thank you to National Western. Safer communities are more humane communities, and we should also create and enforce tougher penalties to crack down on illegal wildlife trafficking, which is often linked to other crimes like gun, drug, and human trafficking. Our partners in law enforcement play a key role in making Colorado safer, and I'm proud that today we're joined by Arapahoe County Sheriff Tyler Brown, La Plata County Sheriff Sean Smith, Moffat County Sheriff Casey Hume, Prowers County Sheriff Sam Zordel, Summit County Sheriff Jamie Fitzsimons, Aurora Police Chief Todd Chamberlain, Arvada Police Chief Ed Brady, and leaders from the Colorado State Patrol. Thank you for the work you do. Thank you. This election, voters made their voices heard clearly to support strong public safety measures, including support for crime victims, investing in law enforcement to help attract and retain quality police officers, and providing more certainty in sentencing for the most serious offenses. I want to thank and congratulate Majority Leader Duran and Representative Froelich for their leadership on Proposition KK, which will bring valuable support dedicated for victim services, school safety, and behavioral health, including for our brave and dedicated veterans. Thank you, Majority Leader Duran. I'm also confident that thanks to the actions taken by the voters in passing Proposition 130, we will, as a state, be a better partner in funding law enforcement with $350 million in support for hiring, retention, and training. Our brave and dedicated police officers give their time, talent, and tragically, sometimes their lives to keep our communities safe. Proposition 130 also provides financial support for the families of law enforcement officers who are killed in the line of duty. We now have the opportunity to implement this as quickly as possible to ensure that no family of a law enforcement officer lost in the line of duty needs to worry about their needs being met. And we can work together to ensure that the family of Golden Officer Evan Dunn, who was tragically killed in the line of duty on November 6th, receives the support that was passed the day before his death. And we're joined today by Golden Chief of Police Joe Harvey and Officer Dunn's widow, Annalise. Annalise, we extend to you our deepest condolences and thank you for joining us here today. It's now our role and our responsibility to implement the will of the voters. In addition to funding for public safety and the other public safety related measure, this election, Colorado voters voted in favor of a number of measures, and whether we as individual voters agree or disagree with them, it's now our responsibility to implement those measures in good faith with full fidelity to voter intent. Coloradans voted to establish a veterinary professional associate, like a PA for humans, to help fill workforce shortages and expand access to quality veterinary care. The State Board of Veterinary Medicine will implement this measure and fulfill the will of the voters while ensuring high standards of protection for animals and for consumers. And we encourage any of you to share input you have with the Veterinary Board. Coloradans also voted overwhelmingly to enshrine fundamental freedoms into our Constitution and to help ensure that the state of Colorado remains free. This includes a ballot measure that took hateful definitions out of our state constitution and allows the legislature to protect the right to marry who you love. The voters also approved constitutional language to protect the fundamental right for a woman to make her own reproductive health care choices, including abortion. And now we work to implement the will of the people, and where necessary, and only where necessary, pass implementing legislation consistent with the spirit that these measures were passed. To be clear, in Colorado, we have zero tolerance for those who commit crimes, whether they're American citizens or not. And I truly hope that President-elect Trump and Congress can work together quickly to secure the border, stop human trafficking, and stop the illegal flow of guns and drugs. And as a state, we welcome more federal help to detain and deport dangerous criminals. I also hope that Congress finally provides legal pathways to citizenship for dreamers and those who seek to come out of the shadows to help make Colorado greater. And we don't support efforts to deport American citizens, to target those on pending legal status, to break up families, to create orphans of American children whose parents are alive and who come to this country to build a better life for their families. We'll stay true to the core values upon which our country was built, opening the door of freedom and opportunity and hope for all. We'll support businesses in Colorado who follow state laws to make sure they can continue to retain their employees who are doing work that's so important for our economy, whether it's agriculture, construction, or service or industry. It's the moral thing to do. It's also the right thing to do for our economic success. Take Sophia, whose name we've changed for her safety. Sophia is a nurse, helping provide life-giving care to Coloradans day in and day out. She's a DACA recipient. She's been in Colorado over 20 years. And if you look in the gallery, you will notice an empty seat. We're not joined by Sophia today, who we checked in with earlier today, because of the grim reality that Sophia and many other immigrants who enrich our communities and economy every day are living in fear. Those who are following our laws and contributing to our economy deserve the opportunity to live the American dream and make Colorado and America an even more amazing place. Genuine opportunity is all about being able to start a good life and earn a living. It's about making ends meet and still having enough left over to pursue your dreams. It's about having a clear path to prosperity. That's why I'm focused on saving people money on the biggest cost drivers: healthcare, housing, transportation. Yes, that includes healthcare. And as you know, one of my first actions as governor was to create the Office of Saving People Money on Healthcare, led by our fabulous Lieutenant Governor, Diane Primavera. And we have been very serious about taking on the hard fights to lower the cost of healthcare and living for Coloradans from day one. And we've made some life-saving progress together, capping the price of insulin, passing the bipartisan reinsurance that's reduced rates by 25%, the landmark Colorado option, and nation-leading price transparency legislation. But we also know there's a lot more work to be done. Robert Redford, University of Colorado attendee and also founder of the world-renowned Sundance Film Festival, wink, wink, wisely observed, problems can become opportunities when the right people work together. And we'll continue to call on the FDA to approve our prescription drug importation plan. And you know, we don't always find ourselves on the same side of every issue as Florida, but as the only two states taken much needed and long overdue steps to cut the cost of prescription drugs by importing them from Canada, our patience is wearing thin for the FDA slow-walking our well-qualified application to import lower-cost prescription drugs and pass the savings along to our fellow Coloradans. We can and we should take additional steps to save people money on prescription drugs, which is why I support the work of Senators Rich and Michelson-Janae to protect and expand prescription drug discounts to better serve our most vulnerable. We've learned through our nation-leading policies to increase hospital pricing transparency that Coloradans and employers are still paying far too much for hospital services. While Coloradans with commercial insurance are paying nearly 3 times what Medicare pays for hospital services, our safety net providers, like Clinica Family Health and Wellness, Marillac Health, Grand Junction, Denver Health, Pueblo Community Health, and many others, are often left behind. Now is the time for us, alongside Representative Brown and Senator Bridges, to take real action to deal with excessive hospital pricing and protect our safety net providers. Together, we can prevent hospital costs from going up and defying gravity. A few months ago, I had the honor of delivering a Colorado kid the 1 millionth book given free of charge through Dolly Parton's Imagination Library. As famous Wyoming rancher RuPaul says, reading is what? Fundamental. Reading helps young people cultivate their dreams, dreams that grow. Yes, he's a Wyoming rancher, by the way. Didn't make that up. The path from dreams to skills to prosperous careers in fields that inspire us is truly worth fighting for, and that's what we're doing in Colorado. Last year, thanks to Representative Sirota's work, of course, as well as the voters of Colorado 2 years ago, the first class of universal preschool saved families an average of $6,100. And making preschool free, approved by 67% of voters in red counties and blue counties, rural, urban, suburban, propelled Colorado from 27th to 7th in the nation for preschool enrollment. And beyond the family savings and the learning benefits, new research shows that universal preschool also drives economic mobility. On average, parents who enroll their kids in universal preschool earn 20% more than parents without access to universal preschool, and long-term studies show that the kids will also do better when they grow up. Thanks to Speaker McCluskey, Minority Leader Lundeen, Assistant Majority Leader Bacon, we also created a new school finance formula that focuses on students, not systems. Our task going forward is to implement that formula, ensuring that schools that serve students who are English language learners, who come from poverty, get the resources they need to help every student succeed. But we must ensure that the gains that we've made are sustainable. Colorado is an outlier when it comes to school funding, with our current system funding students based on where they were enrolled 4 years ago. We're talking about counting students that attended nearly half a decade ago. To fully fund our new school finance formula and ensure we never have to go back to the budget stabilization factor, we have to start funding students where they're at in their schools today in ways tailored to their needs. It is truly past time to eliminate the antiquated system that funds empty chairs rather than actual students. Thank you, Senator Lundeen. And we have a responsibility to guarantee that every Colorado student has access to a high-quality education, and that requires creating innovative pathways for students and schools to succeed. No excuses, no exceptions. Today, in Colorado, tragically, there are education deserts, as President Coleman calls them, where 90% of students, imagine a class of 25 students, 22 are behind grade level in math and reading. That is unacceptable. We need to be clear that the way for these students to get back on track is by making it easier for high quality and innovative schools to start and operate in Colorado, supporting students, whether they're in a traditional school or a charter school, and giving parents the ability and empowering them to choose the option that is best for their kids. And there are some amazing examples of what works. Global Village Academy North in Thornton is a school that serves over 50% low-income students, and over 80% of 8th graders are at grade level or above on reading, over 90% on writing. Yes, we can do it. This school and many others across our state are changing lives for the better, and I'm thrilled that head of school Nicole Waltzell and principal Chelsea Bird are here with us today. Thank you for your work for kids in Thornton. And there's more work to do to make achievement like this the norm in district schools, in innovation schools, in charter schools, because every student means every student. As a state, we are firmly focused on winning the future, and we're putting the tools in place to do so, including making the first 2 years of higher education free for many Colorado students, thanks to Representative Taggart, Representative Byrd, and Senator Kirkmeyer. This year, I have the honor of serving as chair of the bipartisan National Governors Association. My initiative as chair, Let's Get Ready, Educating All Americans for Success, is all about preparing students for real life and our economy for real success. We're looking at how we can better ensure that learners develop the skills and talents they need in today's and tomorrow's job market. Our mission is to learn how to better measure success so we can expand and scale what works and change or adjust what doesn't work. This is one of the many ways I'm partnering with governors, both Democrats and Republicans from states across the country, to tackle the challenges and embrace the opportunities that cross state lines and unify us as a nation. That means stepping up to support one another, and I'm proud that Colorado is now sending critical firefighting resources, including multi-mission aircraft, fire engines, and firefighters to California as they face their devastating fires. In Colorado, we are unfortunately no stranger to wildfires, and we work better together in our times of need. Every step of the way, we take lessons and inspiration from the breathtaking nature around us. For example, the thin bark of the lodgepole pine is quickly burnt when wildfire strikes. But instead of destroying the trees, the fire melts a resin that seals shut the cones. And when the resin melts, the seeds open and spread, returning life to the burn scar. This is the perspective, finding opportunity in obstacles, that I'm taking with me as we drive progress and prosperity as we climb higher in the years ahead. Nearly 130 years ago, Catherine Lee Bates wrote the iconic words of America the Beautiful at Pikes Peak. Pikes Peak, of course, today remains a national treasure, and I'm so excited that through a new partnership with Colorado Parks and Wildlife, we're partnering to better care for and expand recreational opportunities on America's peak. Nearly a century and a half later, Colorado continues to lead and inspire. Next year, we'll celebrate our great state's 150th birthday, sesquicentennial. We taught you how to say that next year, but there's some new members. Sesquicentennial, as well as America's 250th birthday. Over the last 150 years, we faced many trials and tests. We've weathered challenges, and we've risen above, always coming out on the side of freedom. In the free state of Colorado, it's your body, it's your marriage, it's your choice. In the free state of Colorado, diversity is a strength, not a threat. In the free state of Colorado, we open the door to opportunity, to abundance, to prosperity. This is the Colorado for all. This is the state of our state. Strong, prosperous, and free, always striving to climb higher. Now let's get to work and get it done. God bless you all. God bless Colorado, and God bless the United States of America.
Thank you, Governor Polis. Will the committee please escort the governor to his chambers? Sounds like he's in trouble. He's not in trouble. House Majority Leader Duran.
Mr. President, I move that the message from the governor be printed in the House Journal.
If there is no objection, the governor's message will be printed in the House Journal. Senate Majority Leader Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the joint session be dissolved.
If there's no objection, the joint session is dissolved.
House members, we do have a few pieces of business to tend to. If I can invite our House members to their seats. House members, if you could please take your seats. Representative Ricks, I believe you have an announcement. Members. The House will come back to order. Announcements and introductions, Representative Ricks.
Oh, members, good afternoon. We're going to have our Smart Act hearing in the Old State Library today upon adjournment. So join us for Smart Acts. Thank you. See you soon.
Mr. Schiebel, I believe we have some business. Representative Ricks, can I have you come back to the well? Thank you.
Okay, and this is for
Representative Ricks.
This is for business and labor. Please meet me in the Old State Library for Smart Act hearings upon adjournment. Thank you.
Mr. Schiebel, the printing report.
The chief clerk reports following
Printing
bills.
report will be printed in the journal. Signing of bills, resolutions, and memorials.
The speaker has signed Senate Joint Resolution 9.
Signing of bills, resolutions, memorials will be printed in the journal. Message from the Senate.
Madam Speaker, the Senate has
Message
adopted
from the Senate will be printed in the journal. Introduction of resolutions.
House Resolution 1002 by Representative Hamrick concerning employees and positions for the House of Representatives convened in the first regular session of the 75th General Assembly.
House Resolution 1002 will be laid over one day under House rules.
Senate Joint Resolution 2 by Senator Rodriguez, also Representative Hamrick, concerning the officers and employees of the first regular session of the 75th General Assembly.
Senate Joint Resolution 002 will be laid over one day under House rules. Any further announcements and introductions? Representative Hartsook.
Thank you so kindly, Madam Speaker. We're doing a quick huddle here. So I would like to announce this afternoon, I don't see my counterpart, but this afternoon from 2 to 4, well, here we go. From 2 to 4 is the bipartisan mixer downstairs on the first floor in the West Foyer. So all the members are invited. There's going to be light appetizers and drinks, and then we're going to have that downstairs. And I'll turn it over to my co-caucus chair.
Representative Joseph.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It is an honor to serve with you.
It is an honor to serve with you.
Please, members, we are starting our session and we want to start it in fellowship with one another. Please come and join us downstairs for this mixer, and we have plenty of food for all of us, courtesy of my caucus co-chair, Rep. Mendy Lindsay. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Woohoo! See everybody there, 2 to 4. Any other announcements? Seeing none, Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move the House stand in recess until later today. And members, there's a possibility we may not start till 9:30 tomorrow morning, but I will let you know. All right? Thank you.
Thank you. The House will stand in recess until later today.